That is awesome, dude. Look how red he is. That's real animal style right there.
Look at that.
That is a day maker, baby. Oh, look at that.
Real Animals, presented by Contender Boats.
Hey gang, today I'm in beautiful Punta Gorda, Florida. We're fishing out at Burnt Store Marina. My good friend Captain Rhett Morris has taken me fishing. We got a beautiful day. Looks like things are setting up perfect here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We lucked out. We got low winds, good tides, live well full of bait in case the plugs aren't working. We're gonna sneak into a mangrove shoreline here, do a little snook fishing, red trout, see what happens.
Sounds good to me. Let's do this.
Yeah, man.
Basically, we're fishing in Charlotte Harbor, and it's an absolutely incredible fishery. You know, it's known around the world for its tarpon fishery. It's probably the world's greatest tarpon fishery, or definitely one of the best known tarpon fisheries on the planet. Lots of redfish and a lot of great snook fishing. It's a very opportunistic fishery. It changes a lot. You get a lot of water flow. There's rivers that dump in from one end up there in the harbor, and it creates a really powerful estuary with a lot of great game fish action. So what's the deal here along this shoreline?
Nothing real special. We're just gonna sneak into where we can barely reach the mangroves because the tide's still not all the way high.
Okay.
It's incoming and the fish are not gonna be riding the trees real tight. The smaller ones will, but the bigger fish will be out a little bit. So we're gonna get where we can just barely reach it and just bomb some casts in there and throw a little chum out. What I love to do is, you know, throw artificial first. If it's not happening, we'll sprinkle a little bit of bait out there and then keep fishing artificial because I love catching them on plugs.
There's fish.
There's the trout ski. Got to start it off somewhere, man. Somebody got to get the skunk out.
Somebody had to get an opener, yeah.
Atta boy.
Marshmallow. I had to stick with it just a little longer than you did.
Couldn't agree more.
I love that paddle tail. This is probably one of the easiest things we can do as anglers, whether you wade fish or whatever it is you do, is to make sure that you have that D-hooker. The trout have such a tender slime coat on them. In your hands, a towel, any of that stuff will take that slime coat off really easy. So I almost always carry a D-hooker. I think it's a great idea. With circle hooks or J hooks, you can just run it right down the line and it'll slip onto the hook. With a jig head, it gets a little crazier. You kind of need to set it in the nook of the hook, and all you're doing is lifting, and you use the fish's weight to drop right in the water. It's a great tool. They're only a couple of bucks. Your big box stores, your local tackle stores, your mom and pop shops will all have a D-hooker. It's a great idea. Because as you could see, that was a smaller trout. Wouldn't be a trout we'd want to put in the box if we were keeping fish, which we're not. So you want to make sure that those fish go and turn into those 4 and 5 pounders, those big trophies that everybody's looking for. So many people email me after episodes that we talk about the D-hooker and ask about it. It's really amazing. Yeah. From all over the country, we get emails on the D-hooker. Yeah, you would think that that would be a staple in everyone's tackle box by now. Double, trout double.
That's what we love about the single treble. You get a little trout on, and how about it? Is the trout not one of the most dangerous for getting you stuck with the second treble?
The head shakes and all that they do. Absolutely. This one's a little bit bigger. Oh, perfect.
These Mike Anderson full bay rods are so good, they come with a D-hooker button.
Yeah, that's right. High end, baby. Our fish need 3 things. They need a food source, they need an ambush point, and they need an exit strategy. So they need to be close to some deeper water, so if the water either turns really cold or the porpoises or the sharks or some predators come in there to feed on them, they have an escape route. And there needs to be, you know, bait around, mullet, pinfish, pilchards, something around for them to eat.
Yep, finally got a little dinker snook. Yep. My boy, open the gate for me.
Marshmallow, baby. And this time of year, you know, late in the summer, we got a lot of fry bait, a lot of mullet in the back country, and that's what we had in that scenario today. When the tide rushes out of that cove that we were in, it creates a natural channel up along that shoreline, and that deep shoreline provides them that ambush point that they like to feed by.
All right, all we need is a redfish and we got the slam.
Right.
Thanks for joining the party, little dog.
Marshmallow.
Nicely done, sir.
Getting her done. Pearl. Particular spot, Rhett said, you know, over the years has been really, really good to him. He doesn't fish it all the time, saves it for some special occasions, and you can tell there was quite a few fish in that trough today for sure.
Real Animals is brought to you by Quantum Fishing Reels. Outsmart, outfish, outlast. Ray Marine, simply superior. Mirror Lure, turn on the bite. Ingle, high performance coolers.
You know, with Captain Rhett Morris, you get a guy right away, you can kind of feel his passion for the fishery. He's been fishing that area since he was a little kid, and every nook and cranny and sandbar, every little pothole, you know, he's been there a million times. He's got an incredible passion for conservation and the long-term effects of guiding and making a living on the water.
There you go.
Oh, the little guy jumped on it.
Let's get some snook biting, man.
Every time I come down here to fish with Rhett, I get really excited. You know you're in for an epic day. Come here, Betsy. Come here. Cool trick. You take them snook and lay them upside down like that. They get sleepy for you, a little catatonic even. Come here. Little thumb sucker. You know, it's really good to see the snook fishing, especially in an area like Charlotte Harbor, anywhere along the West Coast that got hit with the really bad freeze that we had in 2010. To see the numbers of fish that we have now in Charlotte Harbor is really good to see.
Look, he's got it.
Some of the estimates, 70, 80, maybe even 90% of the fish were lost in 2010 due to the freeze. So to have that many fish now making that their home again, but thriving in that environment, it's really good to see.
The folks at home right here, the bite was tough. They're not, I mean, they're eating it, but they're not wanting to take it. So I let this fish have it a little longer, and now he's got it down. So rather than trying to dig your little 10-cent hook out of the fish's mouth, take your pliers out or your knife or whatever it is, get as close as you can without holding the fish up by the line so that you're tearing whatever it's hooked into, which is usually soft tissue in the back of the throat. Reach down there and clip it and let the fish swim off, because he's got a way better chance of surviving that release than he does if you pick him up and squeeze him and dig on the hook. Just cut it off and regroup.
For me, the tarpon fishing is one of those really tough things to do. You know, the second you put the cameras on the boat, tarpon can get a little finicky. So we leave a shoreline that's covered in snook and trout, and we run across area that's got hundreds of rolling tarpon on it.
In this harbor, we have the Myakka River and the Peace River dumping in at the very top of the harbor, and they flow fresh water all the way down through this bay towards the Gulf, and it produces a never-ending supply of the perfect mixture of salt and fresh water, that brackish sweet water that allows for an estuary to flourish. So you've got every kind of bait fish wants to spawn in here, every kind of crustacean wants to spawn in here, and then all the sport fish want to spawn in here because they know their offspring are going to have plenty of food to eat.
Right.
And that's how it goes. Oh, fish on, get them, baby.
Oh, we got here.
What was I saying?
I don't have any idea. You lost me at fish on.
That's right. Oh man, I love them. The Silver Prince in training.
Nice.
When the fish are shooting under your boat, I see a lot of people, how about you, Mike, that lift straight up in the air.
Yeah.
Get low with your fish and keep the angle.
Yep.
So your line and or rod is not touching the side of your boat, and then you can recover, let the fish come back out. The worst thing to do when a fish goes under is pull straight up.
And I think it's funny too, because people act like that saltwater is going to do something to the rod.
Use the rod, not the reel, to fight the fish. Everybody wants to and crank.
He almost jumped in the boat.
Do some tap dancing with me, man.
We almost caught him. Hey.
You know, man, I've gotten so chill about messing with these things, picking them up for pictures or anything like that. Little guys, it's way easier because you can support the body.
Yeah, of course.
But the big ones anymore, man, I just lay them up on the side.
The big ones are a no-go. Come here.
Don't fight it, little guy.
Come on,
you don't know who you're messing with.
We're just gonna take your picture.
That's in the button, isn't it?
It is perfectly hooked. My father, God rest his soul, he used to say that all luck was where preparation and opportunity meet. And I think a lot of that's true. Yes, you need to get a little lucky. You need to get in the fish at the right time. We happened to show up. All the tarpon were up top. I mean, it was a perfect scenario. But, you know, fishing with a guy like Captain Rhett, who grew up here, who fishes it every day, that's not luck. He knew where to look, and we ended up having a special day for sure. That
Look at that,
is what
man.
it's all about right there.
You gotta love that.
Rhett Morris, you are a sick, sick individual, brother. Absolutely super talented. The way you take care of the fishery, it's absolutely perfect. I wish all of our captains would do it just the way you do it, my friend.
I appreciate the compliment, man. We got to learn from somebody, Big Mike. I'm glad you're doing it the right way.
Just the way that you do it. Buddy, that's a morning right there, kiddo. Unbelievable.
I like it.
Real Animals is brought to you by Gator Gems Tackle, not just another tackle store. Spider Wire, nothing gets away. Bull Bay rods combined with Fuji guides for a difference that you can feel. Strike First Lures, outfish everybody.
Dude, if you get bit again, I might have to push you in. Okay.
He's on you, just swirled you.
I saw him. Come on. Oh, there he goes. Come on.
Fish on. Oh, mine got off. No, he didn't.
Atta boy. We have a saying that, you know, when the tarpon aren't chewing, you're in a lot of tarpon. You know, it's tarpon being tarpon. And to get the opportunity to be on some of those fish in that 20, 30, 40-pound class and to have them as active as they were today is pretty special.
Fish on, baby.
I'm gonna let you do that.
Jump for me. Uh-oh.
Sleeper.
It's a sleeper, and it feels like it could be a lot bigger.
I was gonna say, you got you.
Uh-oh, here she comes, here she comes, here she comes, do it.
Oh, nice fish.
Perfect. Yes, digging. Come on, girl, show me what's up. Get up there. Get up there, come on. Oh, she blew up.
I just don't know how it gets any better. You know, snook and trout first thing in the morning on mirror lures and roll out here and just an acre of the perfect tarpon. Look at that, dude.
In the button.
Yeah.
We like the button.
This one's gonna be a little angrier, I think. Come here. Come here, I know. Still unhappy. You just want to take a picture, Pumpkin. We're gonna let you go. Send you back with your friends, all nice and happy. Come here. It won't turn his head right. Come here. Yeah. Well, we got some foam on you. Unbelievable.
Right on, cuz. Hey, they're still ripping it.
We'll catch another one?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Wow. The key to most tarpon fishing is to try to be as quiet as possible. Present the baits nice and clean. You'll notice Rhett went to a little bit longer leader. The Spider Wire Ultra Cast is white. Although it's translucent in the water, that white could be picked up. A tarpon's eyeball is pretty good size. They got pretty good eyes. So we went to a longer leader, just fishing live bait. When we pulled up there, we saw some baits kind of scattering. So we kind of thought they were feeding on some of the white bait that been holding on that edge. And that was the case. If you got in front of a little pot of tarpon, you had a hook up. Again, it just doesn't get any better than that.
Fish on.
Seriously, Morris? Dude, seriously, bro.
Mikey, you tried to push me off the boat, man.
I'm gonna push you in, dude.
I'm glad the fish ran this way because I had to get away.
I'm not even helping him anymore.
Come on, baby, show me what you got.
I'm not even helping him anymore. He's on his own.
There it is.
Oh!
Ooh. You just keep fishing, brother. I'm gonna try to rodeo this one.
How cool is that, bro? Huh? The Silver King. That's funny, you were calling him the Silver Prince?
That's right, my little silver princess. Look at that. That is gorgeous. I'm just gonna do a general release. With these little guys, it's not as big of a problem. With your big tarpon, always remember that air bladder's gotta stay full. So when you pull a big fish up next to the boat, that's clearly over 100 pounds. The best thing to do is lay them on their side, get all your pictures like this, cheers, roll them over, let them kick a little bit, and they're gone. That way you're not stressing your fish.
Hey, nice job.
Real Animals Tip of the Week is brought to you by Pro Marine. Quality marine engine parts overnight.
Guys, this week I want to talk to you about being prepared when you hit the water. You know, offshore and inshore saltwater fishing, anything can happen. Really good idea to pick a rod and reel for the day that has some versatility in it. You know, this is a 7-foot 2-inch, kind of a medium action rod. We call it our 15-pound class. 10-pound spider wire ultra cast Invisibraid, which is super tough. 10-pound braid, and the carbonite bull bay rod did a great job. The other thing you want to make sure you have is you want to have a quality reel. This has got a sealed ceramic drag. This is the 30 Smoke series. It's got 2.0 corrosion guard protection on it, so the saltwater environment, which is very tough on your gear, doesn't eat it up. You know, the quality of this drag, again, it's a sealed ceramic drag, and the quality of the drag on your reel, that offers you the opportunity to downplay this line a little bit. Instead of having to use a 15 or a 20-pound braid, we're able to go to this 10-pound spider wire ultra cast, which is super strong. With the Fuji K guides, you can make super long casts. You can fish for big fish like the 20-pound tarpon. You can fish for the little trout that we were catching this morning, all on the same reel because you're using a great drag. It's really important that you kind of make that decision to get yourself some good versatile gear when you go out there. Just like today, you just never know what you're going to run into. Make sure you got a rod with some good backbone. Again, lightweight. We were throwing artificial baits and throwing live bait all day. This stuff is super, super lightweight, but it's super durable. It's a great choice. Whenever you get out there on the water, make sure you're prepared for just about anything because you never know what's going to happen.
Real Animals is brought to you by Deeper. Discover water with your smartphone. Rolls Axle Trailers. Built like no other. South Seas Island Resort. Plantation on Crystal River. Closed captioning provided by Gator Ford. Real Animals Tackle Box is brought to you by CCA Florida and CCA Florida Star Tournament. Fish Brain. Love fishing more.
In today's Real Animals Tackle Box, Captain Rhett and I were using the Real Animals Signature Series Bull Bay rods in the 15-pound class. They're 7 foot 2 inches long. Again, Fuji K guides make long casts, especially when you're throwing artificials. Fast action tip, great for working artificials, very sensitive if you're catching snapper or things like that, whatever you're doing. Great all-around inshore rod. We were using the Fenor Lethal 30s and the Quantum Smoke 30 spinning reels, both of them with 10-pound spiderwire ultracast Invisibraid, and we were rigging those up with 25-pound Berkeley Pro Spec fluorocarbon leader. Mirror lure marshmallows in opening night and in my favorite pearl. We were also throwing some mirror lure miridines, which is one of my favorite hard baits inshore, everything snook, redfish, trout, anywhere you have pilchards. And we were using Nautilus Light 2-aught circle hooks on those live baits. From snook and trout to 25 to 30-pound tarpon, this is all the tackle you need to do exactly what we did today. Rhett, why the big concentration? You know, this time of year out here with all these little fish. I mean, there's a pile of them out here. They're chewing. I mean, this is incredible.
Well, it has a lot to do with the fact that they're all juveniles. They're all hanging together, and tarpon often hang out. You know, it's in similar size groups. You know, you'll be either catching them all under 100 one day, or the next day it seems like they're all over 100. And that's part of it. The other half of what we're seeing is that this entire coastline on all sides is full of creeks. And all these little mosquito ditch style creeks are where these little tiny tarpon are, you know, sort of nurtured up into their adulthood. and they're scratching the surface of getting ready to join the migration within the next 3 to 5 years. It's easier for them to identify a threat because it's real quiet out here. So if there's any sharks in the area, they can sort of feel them and move off easy and stay out of harm's way. Oh, get in there. Oh God, be ready. Fish on. Oh,
that is awesome, dude.
We like that.
That is unbelievable.
Sweet. That's my man.
Dude, are you kidding me? Seriously.
We like this.
That's epic. Light tackle too, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Loving
cool. Yeah.
10-pound little 2-aught hooks.
That's really cool.
Oh, sweet.
I love the Silver Prince moniker. That's a great name. What a cool name for these fish, because that is absolutely as good as it gets right there. Taking your picture. You'll notice too, as soon as Rhett got his hand on that fish, I put some slack in it. Drop your rod tip, put some slack in that line. Look at that. Captain Rhett Morris, you are the man. Well done, kiddo.
Good job, Big Mike.
What a morning, huh?
That is just freaking beautiful, brother.
Woo!
Night, night, sweet prince. There she goes.
Brother, absolutely doesn't get any better than that. Spectacular.
Dude, I'm loving me some of that.
Spectacular. You know, I think one of my favorite parts about fishing with Captain Rhett Morris is that him and I really look at the fishery the same way. You know, don't just go out and think about filling your cooler, taking home your limit every single day. We never took a fish home today. We didn't take a limited trout home. We caught some tarpon, saw some beautiful snook, saw some great shoreline, fishing with a really, really good friend. You know, that's what fishing's all about. And that's the same thing. It's near and dear to Captain Rhett's heart, and that's why he's one of my favorite anglers here on the west coast of Florida.